This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
The stakes have never been higher. The competition has never been stronger. 42 drivers, 25 rounds. One will be crowned champion. Competition. Commitment, excitement. This is Lionheart. You're watching the premier American open wheel series on iRacing. The Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by First Medical Equipment starts now.
Sponsored by First Medical Equipment. Competition, commitment, excitement. This is Lionheart. Streaming cyberspace into your place from Montreal, Quebec. This is the Global SimRacing Channel's Round 18 coverage of the Lionheart IndyCar Series 2019 Championship. For the second time this year, the best IndyCar drivers on the iRacing service travel north of the border. This time, instead of the rolling hills of Mooseport, the venue is the dead flat semi-street circuit Gilles Villenueve. Point leader Adam Blocker is coming off a win last time out at Richmond, the sixth of the season for the defending series champion. The series has come to Montreal 3 times before, and Blocker looks to become the first 2-time winner, having found victory lane here last season. The layout's tight confines always makes attrition a factor. Who will win? Who will finish? Find out now as all the simulated Dallara IR18 action of the First Medical Grand Prix of Montreal streams your way live as it happens right here on the iRacing Esports Network. Bonjour and welcome to another GSRC broadcast and the Sim Experience Countdown to Green. Over the next 15 minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to appreciate the First Medical Grand Prix of Montreal that will immediately follow as we indeed count down to green. Way up in the booth to bring you our World's Eye View, former real-world IndyCar driver Richie Hearn, joined by yours truly, Phil Soup Zahn. I'm Jay John, has director duties armed with cameras locked and loaded by Dougie Beard. All right, Richie Hearn. Now, it looks like your real-world racing career, the path of that career, which jumped from kart to the IRL, never steered you to Montreal. Am I right about that?
That is a negative. I didn't race here in an IndyCar, but I raced here twice in Toyota Atlantic Series in 94 and 95. I won in 94, finished second in 95 with a broken right hand, mind you. So I really love this place. Really stuck it to those French Canadians. Yes, here we are at Montreal. It's a beautiful place. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, built in 1978. Was built on the place is actually built on a man-made island, which was built for the World Expo in 1967 and used for the Olympics on the St. Lawrence River. It is a super flat surface, very tricky. It's pretty much a street circuit. Lots of walls, no runoff area. Pretty much dominated by straights, chicanes, and a hairpin. It is tricky to get around this track in a fast way because the braking is all what it all takes to get fast through there. But if you do make a mistake and you're going to send it right into the fence, should be a pretty exciting race. Probably a lot of action as far as carnage goes. But the best way for you folks to get a good look at this place is to jump on board that GSRC lap guide.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC IR18, so let's do a lap around Montreal. Down to the Senna S, while passing is possible, it's tough to execute because of the way it switches back into the hairpin. You'll want to be fully past your opponent to get it done. Drivers will have to bleed onto the power to avoid wheel spin, and then from there, you've got a short burst to 3. You'll want to avoid the temptation to take this one too hard because the exit wall is right next to the track. From out of there, 5 will easily be flat out, but you've got a hold of the right to line up for 6. The wake of the car ahead makes overtakes less common into here. Plus, it's better if you set yourself up for the exit off 7, which is another one which requires gentle throttle control. Now that we're on the Riverside Straight, you've got a much better chance to get by someone with this decently long straight and a heavy braking zone into 8. But the apexes of this corner have those tall white sausage curbs that'll send you bouncing around if you get too greedy. A good exit from the chicane will be important because this sends us down to Lapingo. This is the only corner you'll brake for that isn't a chicane, which makes drivers eager to get by here. But it's easy to overshoot it, and probably wise to set yourself up for a good exit. This backstretch along the rowing lake is the longest acceleration zone on the circuit, so it tends to see the most passing during the race. But if you've got to outbrake your opponent into the final chicane, be wary of either a cut course penalty or bouncing over those inside curbs. Also, don't forget the infamous Wall of Champions to the outside, which can end your race in a heartbeat if you smack it. From out of there, it's a straight run to the line, and hopefully you've now finished a lap around Montreal.
And there we have a lap around Circuit Gilles Villeneuve by our own Amjad Yaman. He said he was pretty proud of that lap. So that lap and the countdown to green is brought to you by Sim Experience, the team behind the AccuForce Pro V2 direct drive steering systems. By providing unparalleled realism and the most advanced tuning features on the market, the AccuForce provides a significant advantage to any sim racer. It can also make for an effective training tool for real-world drivers. For more information on the entire Sim Experience ecosystems, including their GS5 seat, Stage Series motion systems, and the Sim 5 software, visit www.simexperience.com. And also use that promo code SimXLion to get 5% off your next Sim 5 software.
Thank you, Richie. Let's go ahead and take a look at the point standings here. I'm going to try to make these as exciting as possible. Honestly, when you got a 255-point lead, there's not a whole lot to say. Adam Blocker really in really good shape here. Dan Guerin sitting in second. He's comfortable there in second. I guess the big news would be the progress that is being made by Big Joe Hassard down in fourth, as he's been hot lately. He picks up another 3 spots and moves up into the top 5. It's been a long time since we've seen Big Joe so competitive. He's doing really well. A couple drivers that have got a couple losses there. Justin Wardlow down to 12th as he falls 3 spots. Everybody else pretty much holding station. Our top rookie, Martinez, down into 16th. Let's go ahead and look at the team championships now. And again, everybody holding station here, except for that 5th position where Skid Mark Black moves up a spot. 8 Ball Motorsports falls down one. Of course, 8 Ball's doing it with only 2 drivers. Even though they're very good, it's going to be hard for Goodman and Weaver to do it as a 2-man team. And that's what's hurting them. Of course, Adrenaline Motorsports, the red team, comfortably out in front with Blocker, Carey, and Kinsella manning that team. Let's talk about the rookie standings, Richie.
Yeah, these rookie standings are brought to you by Butt Kicker, and this is where the real excitement happens. We've been watching this all year. Last race really had a mix-up with Rigney jumping up 2 spots into the first position, but he's only 6 points ahead of Martinez, who didn't have a good race last time, lost 1 position. John Hill sitting in 3rd. He lost a position, but he's only 15 points behind. And even Paul Jenkins, Karam, not really so much into it, but all the way down to Carey in 5th spot, only 65 points behind. So once again, we've been talking about this from the beginning. This is going to go right down to the wire.
And of course, when I did the driver and team standings, also brought to you by First Medical Equipment and Plasma Tracks, respectively. Don't want to forget our wonderful sponsors. The best of the best in the iRacing World Championship, as well as many top private leagues like the one you're watching right now, are showcased right here on the iRacing Esports Network. If you haven't done so yet, make sure that you subscribe, because GSRC is proud to be part of the ISN stable of broadcasters. And let's talk a little bit about this league. It is considered the premier fixed setup racing league for the Dallara IR18 on the iRacing service. And of course, this series and the Retro Series both honor the memory of the late Dan Weldon. And Dan, of course, was an engineer, helped design the DW12 that has been retired a few years ago. We're going to talk about the IR18, though, right now, and it's Professor Lugnut. Professor, what are you talking about?
Dieter, you know what? I really like that band Train. They've sold over 10 million albums. That Patrick Monahan guy is really good. Oh, the accent. Anyway, you know what? Not trains. We're talking about differentials. That's part of the drivetrain. Actually, Soup, Professor here. The differential, actually, one of the more least understood components of this IndyCar. The differential takes the power from the engine, amplified by the transmission. It gets it into two rear drive shafts. Yeah, this car has two rear drive shafts, one for each tire. Well, it gets even more complicated because differentials can operate in one of two states, either locked or unlocked. And a locked differential forces both tires to rotate at the same speed, with an unlocked differential allows tires to rotate at different speeds. You get that? Anyway, I'm trying to. Now, depending on which one you have a higher load or better traction. Now, why is that important? Well, in a straight line, obviously, you want both wheels going at the same speed at the same time. But in the corners, well, you need the outside wheels to rotate even faster, right? So now most production cars have what we call a limited slip differential. And just about all of your, unless it's a four-wheel drive or an all-wheel drive vehicle. The Indy cars, though, have what's called an auto-locking differential, and for these road course races. Now, that allows the differential to lock or unlock based on the power and the torque going through the differential. It's somewhat computer controlled, but it exactly really occurs when it's tuned by the engineers by setting what they call ramp angles. All right, now a lower ramp angle means more locking, higher ramp angle means less locking. There's two ramp angles which actually can be set: the coast ramp angle and the power ramp angle. Coast ramp angle affects the turn-in performance. The power ramp angle affects what happens when the driver gets back on the throttle. Getting these right here in this Dallara IR18 at Montreal, the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Very, very, very important with all the hard braking and acceleration that goes on here, boys.
Wow, that was informative and detailed and entertaining as well. Thank you, Professor. Dieter is not a fan of Train. Is that what I heard?
Well, Dieter was debating it with the professor, and I wasn't on board with that because I'm a fan of Train too. That drops the Jupiter song. That's good stuff, man.
San Francisco band. Want to give him some credit for that one. Okay, let's move on now to the next part of the show, and that's going to be Richie talking about something a little less detailed than the differential, which was really in depth. We're going to talk about the series details, Rich.
Yeah, and these series details come to us thanks to Minus 273, the premier name in karting gloves. For more information on Minus 273's full line of gloves and apparel, visit www.273.biz. Use promo code LHRS for 25% off all orders. And here we are for our series details. We are in Season 7 of the Lionheart IndyCar Series, round 18 of 25 with 3 driver drops. We're using, obviously, the Dallara IR18. The setups are fixed, but they are adjusted to make the cars a little more raceable. And we're working on a cash and prizes totaling $9,652.
And there you have it. Okay, the details are out of the way. We can go ahead and take a look at what's going on the track right now. And qualifying has been started. Look who sits at the top there. Connor Harrington, looking to come back after he was really fast last round, but had some bad luck. Wasn't able to capitalize on his speed. Sits at the top ahead of Adam Blocker.
Yeah, that's a pretty good time. 121.364 to a 131.382. Pretty close there. This track's going to be really tricky. It's going to be hard to pass. Like I said earlier, if you make a mistake, you're going to hit the wall. One thing I found out when I did some practicing is when you come out on cold tires, they're going to have to make some pit stops here. That first lap is treacherous, so I'm probably going to see some incidents maybe on those laps on cold tires. So it's going to be kind of a race of attrition, I think.
And it looks like qualifying is just wrapping up right now. So I guess it's time we can go ahead and give you the starting grid. We'll take it a row at a time. On the front row, it is your points leader, as he was able to sneak in there and move Connor Harrington down to second. Of course, I'm talking about Adam Blocker. Richie, who's in row 2?
Yeah, Dan Guerin's going to start in third. Right next to him in fourth spot will be Tyler Groff.
The man in the hunt for the rookie championship, Damon Martinez, sits fifth. He's going to be sided by Justin Weaver.
The row behind will be Brian Yazik and James Brandt.
Row 5 is populated by Brian Carey inside of Stefan Larkamp.
Starting 11th will be Andrew Kinsella. Starting next to him in 12th will be Brian Beard.
In the Baker's Dozen position, it is the Bakersfield boy, Jason Galvin, in 13th. Joe Canigan Flanagan, 14th.
Starting 15th will be Chris Stouffer, and next to him will be Bobby Mikas.
Chris Sleepy Lanini in 17th. He's going to be inside of a man who always races clean, John Hill.
Starting 19th will be Joe Branch. Starting 20th will be Paul Jenkins.
With an eighth and a face guard, it's Scotty Johnson. A pair of deuces for Brandon Limpkeman.
23rd is going to be Ron Hacker. Starting 24th. And I'll just take the end. The rest of these guys did not put in a time. They either crashed or had a penalty. 24th will be Dustin Wardlow. 25th will be Mike Rigney. 26th will be Ken Hacker. And starting 27th will be George Anzaldo.
There you have it. We wait for the drivers to actually start to roll. If we can take a quick look at the weather before we look at our onboard cameras. Richie, how's it look out there?
Yeah, it's only 80 degrees, partly cloudy or mostly cloudy, it says. Track's a little warm, 107, not too bad. Not much of a wind, 55%, so it's a little warm, but that track temp probably will come down. It should be a good day for those tires, but they are going to have to make a few pit stops, and it's going to be tricky. This opening lap going into turn 1, as we see in the real world with Formula 1, there should be some carnage.
Let's go ahead and take a look at our onboard cameras. We're going to start here today by looking at Brandon Limpkeman. He's got the first medical equipment onboard camera. Your source of medical supplies and equipment in the Burlington, Iowa area. Also carrying an onboard camera is the number 17 car of Bob Mikas. He's got the Plasma Tracks onboard camera. See it all at plasma-tracks.com. Use promo code LRS 2019 to get 25% off your order. And our third onboard camera, of course, is Tyler Graff, the number 26, Clipping That Apex. Clipping That Apex, your home for custom motorsports art. Visit them at clippingthatapex.com.
And we're going green. They head on into turn 1 here. Adam Blocker got a nice jump off that front line. Everybody's trying to single file back there. So far, it looks clean. Adam Blocker doing what he does best. He's looking to be a multiple winner here. I'm looking to see, hopefully, a nice clean lap. Oh, man, second place. Almost lost it right there. Connor Harrington almost lost it in that first chicane. He's going to lose his spot to Dan Guerin.
They get that sorted out so far relatively clean throughout the field. Blocker continues to lead. Guerin now picks up the spot on Harrington, Graff, and Martinez rounds out your top 5. Martinez a little slow coming out of that chicane. I think he's going to lose position to Larkamp. Also peeking in there, Brian Yazik. They lace in triangle position.
Yeah, they're coming into the best passing zone of the track right here, the hairpin. Basically, David Martinez got stuck to the outside. Looks like Justin Weaver, Brian Yazik's going to get by David Martinez. No, actually, I'm wrong. Brian Yazik lost a spot to Justin Weaver, trying to go on the inside of David Martinez.
Blocker
go through the last. Yeah, go ahead.
Blocker's going to get credit with leading the first lap. As far as my timing and scoring goes, looks like everybody's going to get through the first lap cleanly.
Yeah, everybody's doing a good job, taking it easy. You've got one car coming out of the pit lane there, nice, kind of slow. But everybody's doing a good job here. Brian Yazik being attacked by Brian Carey and Andrew Kinsella. This opening lap, nice and clean. A lot cleaner than I expected.
Not sure that was Dustin Wardlow who was coming out of pit lane while everyone was finishing their first lap, starting their second lap. I'm not sure what happened to Dustin.
Yeah, he's already a lap down, so that's going to be a tough fight for him. Let's give a shout out to Steven Larkamp, starting 10th all the way up to 6th. So he had a hell of a start there, moving up a couple of spots on that opening lap.
Scotty Johnson had a little bit of an off through one of the chicanes. He loses a few spots, doesn't hit anything, racing in 20th.
Right now, the top 5 all running right where they started. The only mover really is Steven Larkamp from 10th to 6th. As they go through that final chicane, the wall of champions there is to invite them to hit it.
Blocker begins to pull away.
Yeah, Adam's in a good spot here. He's fast enough to just kind of get in front and just kind of run a steady pace here. Dan Guerin's moving up to 2nd, starting 3rd, so obviously the points championship is pretty much out of his reach, but I'm sure he'll want to have a nice, strong finish. He's had some rough goes lately. Moving down the field, not much battling going on. We got Steven Larkamp, Brian Yazik, Brian Carey, and Andrew Kinsella all kind of stacking up a little bit.
Take a look at 3rd position.
Yeah, just as I said that, Tyler Graff coming up on Connor Harrington right as they go through the hairpin there. He's right on the back. Now they're going to come down this long straightaway. They do have the push to pass, and this is the one spot where you can really get a draft. So if he can get right on the back of him, he might be able to outbrake him going into this final chicane. We'll see if he tries. And it looks like he's going to back off and try to... Oh no! Connor Harrington slides out and gives up the spot anyways. Hits that curb, loses the rear end. He's going to lose that spot to Tyler Groff. And David Martinez is now going to be right on the back of Connor.
Even though he lost the position, Harrington has to be happy that he's still out there racing. The car didn't pick up any damage. Now he's back in the clutches of our rookie, Damon Martinez.
Yeah, he's really lucky not to hit that wall of champions there coming out of that final chicane, and they call that only because the best of the best have all hit that wall at some point. So it really is inviting to push it to the limit, but Connor doing a good job keeping off of it.
We've talked about the top 5. Let's take a quick look at the back half of your top 10 because it's pretty exciting. Let's look at 6th position. And it's soon to be an overtake. Here comes Brian Carey on the inside. He's going to get, as they go beneath the overpass, the pass is made on Steven Larkamp, and he loses position. Carey up to 6th. Larkamp falls to 7th, but he's not out of it yet. Brian Yazik back there. Andrew Havakech Kinsella also looking for a spot.
Yeah, these guys are all stacking up, running. Oh, and Steven Larkamp's going to try to go on the undercut here for the hairpin. Doesn't quite get it done, but here they go down the straightaway. Andrew Kinsella looking right in the draft of Brian Yazik. These guys are all stacked up. And not far behind them, we have another pack of cars in 10th spot. Jason Galvin, Stouffer, Beard. Here comes Jason Galvin going on the inside, or sorry, Stouffer on the inside of Galvin. And he's going to get that pass made nice and clean. Move Stouffer up to 10th spot.
Indeed, he started in 15th position, so he's picking them up really quick. We continue watching as they work their way through one. So let's see how far we're going, how far we can go today. 47 laps on the slate. They figure they can go about 14, let's say 15. Either way, it's going to be a 2-stopper. And you can see the penalty points there.
Yeah, 2-stopper or maybe a 2.5 stopper, depending on how you want to play it out. If you just want to go full bore, you might have to stop again. Really, it's going to come down to, just kind of try to stay on the track, honestly. Tires make a big difference, but they don't wear out too much. It's really about the fuel mileage in these cars.
Jump back up front again. Take a look at 3rd position.
Yeah, Tyler Graff got by Connor Harrington after he made that mistake, but Connor Harrington comes right back after him. Here he goes. It's going to go on the inside of that final chicane. They go side by side. Tyler gives it up, but Connor goes wide. Oh, and here comes Damon Martinez trying to make the party a 3. They might be 3 wide here going across the start-finish line. Not quite, but they're all stacked up going to turn 1.
Look at Harrington really deep into the brakes. He gets the best there. Now they're battling behind Harrington. Graff in the dark car. Martinez in the lighter shaded car. And Martinez gets the nose in there.
Yeah, basically, Groff is going to lose 2 positions going on that lap. So nicely done by all 3 drivers keeping it clean, but they're racing hard right now. And now Tyler Groff is looking to get back by Damon Martinez. Not really much of a passing opportunity in this part of the track. They got to wait till they get down to the hairpin and then back down into that final chicane.
I want to mention a driver that I had big hopes for, James Brandt. He is currently in pit lane right now. He started 8th. I think he actually may even started from pit lane. I'm not sure what happened to him, but it's not the day that he was hoping for. Another driver that is out is Jenkins, and I believe he had some trouble. We're going to take a look at this one. I think we have a replay. We'll back up just a little bit to see what happened to him.
Yeah, we also have another car in the pits as we watch this. Is James Brandt is in the pit lane.
Yeah. Paul started in 20th.
Yeah, looks like he got some.
Won it.
Well, it looks like he had some damage to his steering, not just the front wing. We also have James Brandt sitting in the pit lane. He's out of the car as well.
So the front 3 start to separate a bit.
Oh, Dan Guerin's gone off the track in that chicane just out of the bridge underneath the tunnel. Didn't lose a position, but he's lost a lot of track position. Got back on the track, no damage. And here we go, coming in this corner. And you got to brake right in the shade of that bridge. But this is the only way to be fast is really attack these chicanes here. And he just attacked a little too much, got sideways. Was able to keep going, but did lose a lot of track time. Adam Blocker now up 4 seconds on Dan Guerin.
We're looking at a pass there for attempt for P6.
We got a nice little stack of cars here. We got Connor Harrington, Damon Martinez, Tyler Graff battling it out for that 3rd spot, and then not far behind them, Steven Larkamp's got 3 cars behind him with Brian Carey, Kinsella, and Yazik all battling hard for that 6th position.
Great camera shot there as you watch him going underneath the camera. Love those low angle shots from Dougie Beard. Now we on board. We right off the back of Steven Larkamp with Brian Carey. Canadian Sky pushing down on the track. Oh, and it looks like Christopher Stouffer has had an issue.
Yeah, he's had some contact somewhere. He's got that left front right wing. He's on board with him. This is probably the trickiest section for me coming into this corner. And looks like he's going to get clipped by somebody. Fortunately, with that front wing, he can get that fixed, but he's going to have to sit in the pits. And there you go. There he is, spinning out, and he's going to get clipped. That's going to cause the damage that he currently has.
We come back live. Side-by-side battle on the screen. Getting the best of it there. Now they drop down and you see Galvin just ahead of Lanini. After the problem that Chris Stouffer had, he's making a pit stop. could
he's
be
coming.
within the window.
Oh, looks like actually he might have exited the car there. Yeah, Christopher is disconnected, so he is done for the day. Surprised about that. He might have had some damage to his steering.
Good battle going on now for
Oh.
third position, making an attempt at there. Oh, they make contact.
Yeah, David Martinez got right on the inside of Connor Harrington. They made a little bit of contact. Connor got a little sideways, and Damon got the position. This also put Tyler Graff by, but, Connor might not be happy, but no damage. Going to continue on.
And we come back live. Adam Blocker, been consistently strong all season long, continues to have that happen now as he is in Canada.
And I was wrong. Tyler Graff did not get by Connor Harrington on that, so Connor Harrington retains that fourth position. Tyler Graff is right on the back of him. And once again, right behind them, that Steven Larkamp, Kerry, Kinsella, and Yazik battle continues on. Larkamp doing a good job holding the three of these guys off, but they're all racing really hard. We're already working lap 10, coming close to the first round of pit stops.
You can see that battle for 6 on the screen. That's Larkamp out in front. Diving it in deep is Brian Carey. Carey up a couple spots, racing in 7th, started in 9th. Larkamp up 4 spots to get up to 6th. Not so lucky is the caboose of this 4-car train, Brian Yazik, who is actually down a couple spots as he races in 9th behind Have a Catch Kinsella. Kinsella would love to get that spot back that he just lost in the hairpin.
Up front, Adam Blocker blitzing the field, 7.5 seconds ahead already on lap 11. Dan Guerin doing a good job holding down second spot. He's got a healthy gap over Damon Martinez, about 3 seconds or so. Damon Martinez got his hands full with Connor Harrington and Tyler Graff. These guys have been going back and forth. And then once again, we go back to that Steven Larkamp, that 4-car battle for 6th position, has not stopped. These guys are running hard all the way to that first pit stop coming up in a couple of laps.
Best battle on the track right now, at least up with the front runners. Carey continues to work on the Pennsylvania driver of Stefan Larkamp.
Yeah, these guys, just a little bit of a train there. Nobody able to make a position, but everybody's waiting for somebody to make a mistake. So pretty exciting battle for 6th spot.
Let's go to 16th real quick, Director. This is Bobby Mikas under attack from Justin Weaver. A couple guys we're expected to see a little farther up. Weaver makes that pass as they go beneath the overpass again. Mikas falls back into 17th, a spot lower than where he started. Justin Weaver, of course, started in 6th and has some trouble. That car taking evasive action, trying to get out of the way. That was James Brandt, who we talked about. Let's go up in 3rd position. This is Harrington again, under attack from Martinez. Martinez is stabbing at him. Made a stab into turn 1. And actually, the pass was made. Harrington was able to get underneath him, and the pass was made.
Yeah, originally, David Martinez got by kind of pushing Martinez out of the way. But if you notice on your screen, it's no longer a battle of 3. The other group of 4 is caught up to them. So we have a 7-car battle for 3rd spot at the moment.
I think Harrington might have the pace to drive away. We'll see what the rookie can do in Martinez, if he can hang on or if he'll fall back into the clutches of Tyler Grant. And it looks to be the case. Let's see if Grant's in the tow. He is not. Graff about 1.2 seconds behind Martinez.
And if we want to go back to that rookie standings I talked about, Mike Rigney was leading that standings, but he's way back in 21st spot, missing part of his front wing. Right now, Dave Martinez trying to regain that top spot. He's running in 4th, so he's in a real strong position to take that top spot over. And there's a lot of good prizes going to that Rookie of the Year standing, so this is going to be a heated battle right to the end.
You can see the 2 cars out in front. Harrington and Martinez trying to pull away. They are definitely closing, and when I say they, I'm talking about the 4-car train that is Tyler Groff, Stefan Larkamp, Brian Carey, and Andrew Kinsella. Let's throw into that mix a 5th driver as well, Brian Yazik. Yazik has just been watching the show, being very patient back there, racing in 9th position.
We are coming up to the magical lap 14. We'll see if the leader pits this lap. And he is... Let's see if he enters the pit lane. He does not. He's going to squeak out another lap. So he's been saving enough fuel. Yeah, something happened to Brandon Limperman. He is in the garage. Car destroyed.
Oh, my goodness. Out of the first chicane. Car just got loose. Came around and he noses it into the outside wall.
So we do have some takers for the pit, some not. First car to pit in the front group is going to be Tyler Groff, bringing along Brian Yazik. Everybody else has stayed out. So these guys deciding to come in a lap earlier than everybody else. See how this plays out as we get closer to the end. Next lap, we should see the rest of the group coming in.
Brandon Limperman did have to take a tow. You saw the replay there. He was saved embarrassment by the Canadian foliage. Blocker out of the hairpin will be making a pit stop this time.
Yeah, he would be. And Tyler Groff, Brian Yazik coming out. That opening lap on those cold tires is going to be key to be able to do that undercut. See if Adam Blocker comes in this lap. He's coming down towards the pit entry. He's actually going to go another lap. Wow. So that information is not true. They can go definitely more than 14 laps.
Indeed. Let's see if Dan Guerin does the same.
Yeah.
He's going to go a little farther.
Dan Guerin. Those guys have been running up front. Now we got Connor Harrington. Damon Martinez is going to go around again. Stephen Larkamp, Brian Carey, Andrew Kinsella all going to go again. So we're starting to get a little bit of a mixed setup here on the pit stops.
Let's go ahead and pick up Tyler Groff, as he's the leader of all the cars who has pitted. He's out of the hairpin right now, coming down to the final chicane. We'll see if he can get out in front of Harrington. Harrington is in his stall. Groff with a ton of traffic. He just goes across the start-finish line right now. Harrington is already out on the track.
Yeah, getting into that lap traffic on your lap is really going to hurt your time there because you're trying to do everything you can. Tyler Groff, though, has all he can handle with Brian Yazik all over the back of him. He almost ran right into the back of him into that first chicane there. Now Brian Yazik has lost some time just missing him.
Groff and Yazik are in the true battle there, as those guys have both made their stops.
Yeah, and Blocker is now in. Coming in with him is Dan Guerin. I'm sure David Martinez is going to come in, so they've basically been able to do 16 laps. Stephen Larkamp coming in. Everybody. Oh, Brian Carey is going to stay out, and Andrew Kinsella. So Brian Carey is going to be our new leader. These guys are able to squeak out one extra lap. And that might play a big part in the end as we get near the end and you got to take less fuel. It's always going to wait for fuel, not tires. This might play a little bit in a part, help these guys move up the grid.
Let's look at Brian Yazik in 14th right now. He just made his way around Tyler Groff. Now, I think that traffic is going to crush these guys. It'll be interesting to see where they come out in relationship to Stephen Larkamp, who is making his stop right now, I believe.
Yeah, Stephen Larkamp, he's coming out of the pit right now. Here comes those guys right into the chicane. Stephen Larkamp's going to jump them right there. He's going to get a nice, healthy gap. on those cars, getting into lap traffic for Tyler Groff really hurt them on gaining any track position.
So the
Now,
last... Go ahead.
I was going to say, the real interesting thing is Brian Carey and Andrew Kinsella. They were in that heavy group of 7. They've had pretty clear laps. So they should be coming in this time, and we'll see how they come out as opposed to where Tyler Groff, Yazik, and Larkamp are, because they were all within that mix, and they're coming into the pits right now.
Carey coming in, and as does Kinsella. And you're absolutely right. I think the guys who stopped early, and look how far they went here, guys. This went to lap 16.
Yeah, well, they're actually coming across to do lap
17, right?
So, and the key is just running those clean laps. So if you're in traffic, come in. If not, stay out. We'll see how they're both coming into the pits. Tires on, dropping the car, fuel in. We'll see how they come out to those other gentlemen that they're racing with. Here they come. Here comes Steven Larkamp right by them, but he's got to slow down for the corner.
Larkamp actually has a slowdown penalty as he blew the chicane there on going to the front straight. So Carey and Kinsella, as expected, come out well because of the lack of traffic.
Yeah, it looks like they came out in front of Yazik and Larkamp, or are they right behind them? I can't tell right now.
Yeah, when it all settles down in 4th position, it is Carey and Kinsella.
Yeah, so Carey and Kinsella basically moved up about 3 or 4 spots just on that exchange, so good for them. So, yeah, nice job on that, on those basically finishing out those runs, getting some clean laps. These guys have moved up a couple of spots. That's the way you do it. That's the easiest pass you can make, is in the pit lane.
Now, we talked about pit stops. I foolishly said it's a 2-stopper, and you kind of caught me on that. I heard when you're saying maybe 2 and then some. We're going 47 laps, so you got to go. If you can go to 16, you can 2-stop it. There's a chance that some of these guys that stayed out there really long might be able to get there. 16 and 16 is 32, and another 16 is 48.
Yeah,
So
I think there's going to be some guys who can make it in 3 or in 2, and I think there's going to be some who are going to be basically 2.5 stops, meaning they're going to come in and splash and go. I know I had a couple guys message me and say there's no way they can do it in 2, and they're just going to make 3 stops, just kind of go all out and try to make 3 stops. But yeah, Brian Carey and Andrew Kinsella looking really good. They went the farthest as anybody else.
Right.
So as long as they can hold steady and not make any mistakes. Brian Carey's sitting 4th, Andrew Kinsella sitting 5th. They both started 9th and 11th. So, that's the way you do it.
And
They
they're
definitely jump.
so often the problem is when they try to do it on less stops, the problem is keeping up the pace, but not that far behind. Of course, Blocker's just running away with this thing.
Nah, Blocker and Guerin are kind of in their own league right now. So, Blocker's 10 seconds ahead of Dan Guerin, and Dan Guerin's, almost 5.5 seconds ahead of Connor Harrington. But the real battle is going to be basically for that 3rd spot, that 3rd on back. So Connor Harrington, Brian Carey, Kinsella, Yazik, Groff, Larkamp, Martinez, all those guys are going to be battling it out. Different fuel strategies. So we'll see how it goes. I know Tyler Groff and kind of Larkamp got kind of screwed on coming out in traffic, but that's part of it. Brian Carey and Andrew Kinsella just motored along and was able to jump those guys on the undercut.
Look at the battle going on screen right now. That is the car of Brian Yazik ahead of Tyler Groff. Head down into the hairpin. Let's stay on this bit and let's see what kind of run Tyler can get. Andrew Kinsella continues to distance themselves away from Yazik. Looks like Groff's going to have nothing for Yazik. They go around the slower lapped car there of Mike Rigney, one of our rookie contenders. Getting very close to the wall, if not hitting it. Oh boy, was Tyler Groff, but I guess he's okay out of the wall of champion. Got a good look at it.
Yeah, to be fast to that corner, you got to be able to hit that first curb just right, and then just let the car kind of bounce out to the right, to the right side, basically, without hitting it. And that's the only way to be fast. But it is a risk you have to take.
Want to go back, just put some camera time, if we could, on Chris Lanini. He's all by himself, but he's having a good run. Not our hardest charger, but a good run from him, up 5 spots. On an island right now, about 3.5 seconds behind Galvin and about 2 seconds up on Joe Flanagan.
Yeah, these guys in the mid-pack here are doing a good job. It's not an easy track. So sometimes if you realize you just don't have the speed, you just got to run consistent. And hopefully other people make mistakes.
Oh, let's look at Ken Hacker. As we talk. Through the final chicane, Ken is in 22nd position right now, scored. This was an ugly one. I don't know what happened here, but it isn't pretty for the Hacker family.
Yeah, he's come in, hit that first curb too hard, and he goes nose into the wall of champions. So that's the end of his race. He's in the pits. He has exited the car.
Sadly
right now
enough,
we have
the
18
first
cars. I was going to say, go ahead.
First car on the scene for the Hacker incident was his brother. The other Hacker was there. So Ken Hacker is done. And his brother continues to race.
Yeah, started with 27 cars. We have 21 running. Oh, looks like we got 22. James Brandt is still out there. He's in 22nd. Dustin Warlow, I don't know what happened to him at the beginning. He obviously went a lap down right out of the box, but he's still running cleanly in 21st spot, but he is a lap down. Meanwhile, up front, nobody challenging Adam Blocker. He's got the track to himself pretty much. 11.6 seconds up on Dan Guerin in second spot. Dan Guerin about, 4 seconds up on Connor Harrington. Connor Harrington gapped himself a little bit to Brian Carey, but Brian Carey's got Kinsella, Yazik, Groff, all hanging in there. This is where that battle's going to be once we get near the end. Stephen Lark kept dropping off a little bit there. He was all the way up to about third or fourth, I believe, earlier, but on those round of pit stops, lost some positions.
We were looking at the closest battle there a second ago. That is Stefan Larkamp. Let's go ahead to the Von Hansen's Veep machine.
Yeah, he's got Justin Weaver all over the back of him. And I was going to say earlier, usually we see Justin Weaver a little farther up than this. He's obviously struggling with this combo. He's going to try to go on the outside of Bobby Mikas. They got some lap traffic to deal with.
No, that's pass for spot. That is Mikas going around Joe Branch, yeah.
Yeah, I apologize, Joe. I didn't realize that was you. Yeah, no. This is a race for position. Bobby Mikas getting around Joe. Now Joe's got Justin Weaver all over the back of him.
Branch seems to be a little bit off the pace right now. I don't blame you. The way that Mikas went around Branch, it looked like Branch was just surrendering the position or trying to get out of the way. So let's see what the Moby Dickey's machine could do now of Justin Weaver as he races behind the 28 car of Joe Branch. Of course, Weaver started in 6th, ran into trouble early, and there's the pass made. Through the hairpin, he's going to be too far back to make a run on Mikas. Mikas has a ways to go to get up to John Hill, who races in 14th, but we'll keep an eye on them. One thing that I've noticed about Blocker is as he's been going through lap traffic, he's been getting them one at a time. He really hasn't come up to anybody who's racing. That's not going to be the case once he gets up here to these guys who are racing Branch and Weaver and Micus. And Flanagan has had a problem.
Yeah, coming into that first chicane there, as he comes up, this is really kind of a blind entry. Hit that first curb, kind of pitch the rear end out, and into the wall he goes. He's in the pits at the moment. And he has gone to the garage.
Oh, we were looking at Bob Micus, and he was fighting to get up there, and he made a mistake. He's got the car still out on the track, but...
Yeah, a little wide into that first chicane and then pushed him wide for the second one, got up on the curb. You're trying to really put the power down there and just spun the tires up, but he's able to keep going. Doesn't look like he has too much damage, so not the end of the world. But does lose a couple of spots, and now he's got Adam Blocker right behind him.
Happened right in front of Justin Weaver. Weaver was able to negotiate his way around him. Now Blocker's got a little work to do as he has Micus to take care of.
Yeah, that's going to be for what, P16, P17?
Micus' last car on the lead lap.
Not anymore. As Adam
he
Blocker,
pulls
he's going to let Adam, he's going to let him go. So Adam Blocker's on his way to lapping a lot of cars here today.
And again, the battle that was between Branch and Weaver and Micus because of Micus' issue. Again, Blocker just pick him off one at a time.
Yeah, Adams opened up that gap to 13.2 seconds. Dan still hanging in there in second spot, although his gap has shrinked a little bit to Connor Harrington. A couple of seconds. I'm sure lap traffic had something to do with that. Brian Carey hasn't been able to make any inroads into Connor Harrington, but as we saw earlier with Carey and Kinsella going a couple of laps longer than these guys, so that might play a big part if Connor has to make an extra stop at the end and these two guys don't. They're definitely going to jump him in the final standings.
Kinsella 22 seconds behind the leader. We believe Blocker will have to make 3 stops. Martinez in a battle with Larkamp. And Martinez gets the best of that.
Yeah, we've already seen these guys battle out. Earlier, it was Martinez kind of pushing Larkamp out of the way. I'm sure by accident, but Larkamp got back by him, and now Martinez has got back by him. And Martinez was in 4th earlier, so those pit stops really hurt him. He's all the way back to 9th spot. He's still looking good for the rookie standings. As his closest...
Connor Harrington made the stop. He pits while in 3rd position.
Yeah, that's pretty early. That's lap 26 there. So he's definitely going to be making a 3 stop here.
Okay, let's tune in on 3rd position, Brian Carey, because they're coming up on the lap car of Scotty Johnson. Carey, little by little, has been followed back into the clutches of Yasek. We'll see how this plays out. Also in the mix is Kinsella. Carey makes quick work of Scotty Johnson.
Now it's Brian Yazek's turn.
Yeah.
And Scotty gets out of the way. I'm real curious. So basically, Connor Harrington came in on lap 26. These guys, Carey and Kinsella, for sure, should be able to go to lap 36. If they went 16 or 17 on the first, maybe not 36, but maybe 30, 33. And they're going to jump these guys if they don't have to make a 3rd stop. So they're playing the game. They're playing the numbers game. So you can go, there goes Brian Yazek. He's coming into the pits. He's going to take his 2nd stop. Brian Carey continues on. So does Andrew Kinsella.
We figure that Kerry needs at least to get to lap 32. That's 9 laps from now.
Yeah. Well, he went 16 to 17 laps on
Yep.
that first run. So if he's been watching his numbers on his dash, both him and Kinsella should be able to do it.
And
That
still
will
only
cement them up in
and
the
still
34 spot.
only 20 seconds behind the leader. So in theory, 20 seconds, that's going to be rough for Adam Blocker to come down pit lane, get a little splash of fuel and get out. And not
he
lose the
hasn't
20-second gap.
Him and Dan Guerin has still not come in. They came in a little bit earlier than them. I don't know if they're thinking about it, if they can try to stretch it out, but we'll see. This might really get close at the end. Like say that 20-second gap. I don't know what the pit delta is. It's a pretty short pit lane, but it's going to be close to, probably 20 seconds, pretty close to that. The key is going to be when do Blocker and Guerin come in. If they come in earlier than lap 32, they're going to have to stop again. But if they can make it to lap 32, they might be able to squeak it out, slow down enough. They have enough of a gap where they can save enough fuel. They should be able to make it.
Well, I guess 31. 31 would be 16 and 15, which means at least you did a 16-lap stint. You go 16, 15, 16, that gets you to 47. That gets you there. Ooh. Boy.
Yeah, it's tight. It's definitely tight if you want to make it that way. But like I said, that Adam has 20-second gap on third spot. So he has time that he can give up to save that fuel.
Yeah, my dad used to say when you're the prettiest girl at the dance, you don't need to worry about your dress. What he meant was Blocker's clearly the fastest car out there. The only way, Blocker doesn't need to get fancy with pit strategy here. He should be able just to pace his way with a 3-stopper to the win. Let's go ahead and look at Blocker right now as we see him make the pass around Joe Branch. Branch going a lap down, and then there were 12. Now, maybe some of these guys might be able to get back on the lead lap who have made their stop, but
Well, if they've made their stop already, they are definitely making a 3-stopper. We're working lap 29 at the moment. So, like you said, we got to get to lap 31, 32 to have any realistic chance to make it on 2 stops.
Bob Mikas exiting pit lane.
Really no battles going on the track at the moment. Everybody's separated out, just kind of running their pace. It's really going to come down to, we got about a couple more laps to see where everybody's going to be pitting from, and that's going to dictate the last part of this race.
We expect everyone to make 3 stops with the exception of maybe... Oh, there's Harrington. Harrington has already made his 2nd stop.
Yeah, just got a little bit loose going into that first part of the left-hander. No harm, no foul, but definitely he's making a 3-stopper, so losing that time is not on his favor. He needs to, he's losing it again. He's trying way hard. He's really trying hard to make up that time, and it's costing him time. He just needs to calm down a little bit and just run his race.
Even though he's racing in 8th position, he is battling Dan Guerin and Brian Carey, who are on the other side of the track. Harrington makes it through the final chicane. He'll come across, finish his lap 29th. Oh, Kinsella! Boy, he was really slow out of 1 and 2, then he got his rhythm going and then makes a mistake down into this first chicane here.
Yeah, he goes in a little bit fast, gets sideways, hits that curb, and just bumps the rear, and he really hits the wall hard, does some damage. Missing part of his front wing. He's going to have to come in. get that repair that's going to hurt his chances of finishing in the top 5.
Well, there goes his 2-stop strategy. Which means now that only Brian Carey, we think, has a shot to 2-stop this.
Well, Brian Carey, and Adam Blocker, and Dan Guerin. Those guys came in about 15 laps in. They're still out there working lap 31. So, even though Adam Blocker and Dan Guerin are blitzing the field,
yeah,
they are also saving fuel. Here comes Damon Martinez into the pit lane. So he's coming in at lap 31. That's going to be close, real close. So really right now it's going to be Blocker, Guerin, and Carey. Connor Harrington is missing it now.
Yeah, he sure is.
At this point. There he
I don't know. He maybe got to the cat, or he has a connection problem.
Yeah, he's shown in 6th spot, but not seeing him. Here comes Adam Blocker into the pits. Okay, Adam Blocker coming in the pits on basically the end of lap 31. So starting lap 32. So what does he have? 16 laps, 15 laps to make it to the end.
And he's already done a 16-lap stint to get to lap 31. So
yeah, Dan Guerin's coming in. We'll see if Brian Carey comes in. He is not.
Gonna go one
so
more.
Brian Carey, he's done a great job saving fuel. He's sitting in 3rd, going around again. He's going to take the lead. If he can just really put out some good laps here, he's only a couple seconds behind Dan Guerin on the track. He's going to have to take a little less fuel. Steven Larkamp's coming in. David Martinez. Connor Harrington is, he's lost his connection. So unfortunately for him, he is out of the race. That's too bad.
David Martinez is going to go around one more time, so he's going to do 32 laps.
Yeah, he's pretty far back, Damon Martinez. Really, it's Brian Carey. He was only 22nd. He's not that far. I don't know what it is at the moment, but he wasn't that far back to where maybe so much Adam Blocker, but he was close enough to Dan Guerin to where he might be able to jump him. He has a good in-lap, good out-lap, and a short pit stop.
And Guerin and Blocker will need to do a 16-lap stint. Carey can race pretty much full speed, as he's already done 2 16-lap stints, so he'll only need a 15-lapper. He'll be able to race with a little more confidence.
Yeah, and he's coming into the pits right now, so I like to see he comes in the pits where he comes out with Dan Guerin. So Dan Guerin's coming out of the hairpin at the moment, coming down that long straightaway. Carey's coming into the pit lane, has not stopped yet. It's a short pit lane, and when you're on the track, even though you come down the straightaway, you got to slow down and make that wide first turn. And the way the pit lane comes out, you can almost kind of sneak out in the front of the guy.
Blocker well gone. Guerin just across the start-finish line now. He goes by
Dan Guerin. Here comes Brian Carey out of the pit lane. Dan Guerin has gone by him, so that didn't work out. But now, like you said, if those guys are stretching to make that type of fuel number, Brian Carey's got a lap in his pocket to be able to make that up.
All of our main contenders have made both of their stops. Mike Rigney has yet to make one. He is a lap back, so he's making his on his lap 31.
Damon Martinez is doing a good job. He's made his stops. He's made his way back up to 4th spot. He was back down in 9th early on, so he had a good second stint there. He's come up to 4th. Tyler Graff was racing up front too in that top 3. He's sitting in 5th spot. Brian Yazik, good job, sitting in 6th.
So let me take a second and run you through the field real quick and tell you how I think this is going to play out. Our leader, after all these pit stops are done, Adam Blocker. He's got 16-second lead over Guerin, and I think he can probably get there without stopping again. I think that's the same thing for Guerin. But the problem for Guerin is he needs to go a 16-lap stint. The driver behind him is Brian Carey. He only needs to go 15 laps. Brian can race a little harder. It'll be interesting to see if Guerin needs to save fuel to stay ahead of Carey. Now you get to the driver in fourth, and I don't think he can do it. This is Damon Martinez. I think he's going to need a splash and go. He came in 1 lap before Adam Blocker. He'll need to go 17 laps. I don't think that's doable. The same story for Tyler Graf. He's definitely going to have to stop again, as is Brian Yazik. And we think that Steven Larkamp can probably get there. So keep an eye on Steven. He's back in 7th. He might be able to vulture a few positions.
Yeah, he might be able to jump. Yazik and Groff, because those guys are 5 to 6 laps older on their tires and fuel than he is.
Beard and Lanini race in 8th and 9th. They might be able to go the distance. I'll just run through all the cars that are on the lead lap. There's Chris Lanini. Now behind Lanini, that's Jason Galvin. He absolutely will have to stop. And the last car on the lead lap of the 11th, Justin Weaver. Maybe he'll go. So we have a lot of mixed bag of strategy out there. We talked about attrition playing a factor in this race. Well, a few drivers are out. A handful of them: Joe Flanagan, Ken Hacker, Brandon Lipkeman, George Ansaldo, Christopher, and Paul Jenkins. Honestly, it's been a relatively clean race considering the track we are on, the tight confines that Circuit Gilles Villenueve provides.
Yeah, we haven't really had any car-to-car contact, just minor ones. The only ones that have gone out are the ones who've kind of spun out on their own. And a pretty clean race. Not the most exciting, but there is some strategy involved. These guys are racing hard. I know I drove on this track earlier, and it's not easy, that's for sure, to stay on the track. So these guys are all doing a good job.
Larkamp, who races in 7th.
Yeah, Larkamp's starting to catch Yazik. They're going through lap traffic, so I don't know if had that play a part of it, but right now Steven can see him. They're both coming down the straightaway, both entering that last chicane.
Tyler Groff from 5th position. We told you that he'd have to make another stop. He's going to do his now. So he'll be good to go, but he's going to lose a lot of spots.
Yeah, he's going to lose a lot of spots, so he's going to be tough to make it up, because we all believe that at least the top 3 guys, maybe the 4th guy as well, could make it. Steven Larkamp's looking in a good spot, so he's only done 4 laps since his last stint. He probably can make it. I don't think Brian Yazik can, so that's going to be a position that Steven can make up. That'll maybe put him up to 5th spot.
Tyler Groff comes back out on the track, racing in 8th position, but he's good to go from here. It is amazing that Adam Blocker can be so incredibly fast and still relatively economical when it comes to fuel consumption. I'd like to go ahead and look at the interval if you can. Let's just look on your tower over there. We talked about Dan Guerin and Brian Carey. You can see that Brian Carey, that interval was 4 seconds after the pit stop. It's now down to 2.7. Carey is coming. From 8th position, Brian Beard makes a stop, so that will be a position that Tyler Groff is going to be able to pick up. We have an incident we're going to look at. Mike Rigney in the first chicane. Actually, this is the second chicane here. Coming down this little left-right-hand section. He just overshoots it.
Yeah, we saw someone else have an incident there earlier. That's a tough spot because you try to carry so much speed into that first thing, and then it tightens up, and then it just kind of goes over a rise. You try to get on the gas, and away you go. So, yeah, it's a tough spot. Even in the real life, like when you watch Formula One, that's one of the spots they really struggle with as well.
Brian Beard is in and out. He sorts out into 11th position. He's gone a lap down, I believe.
Yazik is in. Yazik's coming in to make his third stop, so he'll pit from 5th spot. Steven Larkamp's going to go by him. Tyler Groff is the one that pitted earlier. He's coming into that final chicane, so Brian's going to come in and take a quick splash. We'll see what happens with Groff. He's kind of going by him right now, so Brian's going to lose that spot as well.
Yazik rolls. It's going to be interesting if you get out in front of Lanini. Lanini goes by. This is going to be close. Yazik gets out. The car behind him, that is Scotty Johnson, and Lanini is right behind him. Yazik sorts out in 7th. Lanini is 8th. They have the cushion of Scotty Johnson, who races in 15th, a lap down.
Yeah, it was a good stop by Yazik. Take that quick fuel, get out in front of Lanini. Although he did lose 2 spots to Larkamp and Groff. Working on 9 laps to go. So, 9 laps to go. Adam Blocker's done 7 laps. You do the math, that's 16 in real world terms. Can he do it? Can he do it in 16 laps? Same with Dan Guerin. If he can't, Brian Carey has only got to go 15 laps.
The driver up front that we still think needs to pit is the rookie Damon Martinez. Up, and Martinez comes in as I speak. Just a quick one. He's stuck right behind Mike Rigney. Rigney slows up and lets him out. Martinez slots out in, I guess, 5th position.
Yeah, he's going to lose that spot to Larkamp. He's going to stay in front of Groff. So Damon will switch back to 5th spot. Still going to stay in the top 5. Man, Adam Blocker is just killing the field. He's lapped all the way up to 11th spot. Probably not too far away from 10th. So he's just doing his thing. He hasn't made one mistake. I think the question mark is, and it's not probably a question mark. I'm pretty sure he can do it, but he's got to go a long 16-lap stint here.
Brian Beard races in 10th. There's John Hill.
John Hill coming in for his final stop.
He pulls out. I think Joe Branch is on the main straightaway. That's who's going to try to get him. This will be fun to see here. Hill coming out in 12th. Branch is coming. This will be a battle for 12th. I think Branch is going to get him. They're going to come out really close. Hill's out on the track. Branch right behind him. Can Grant Branch get the power down and pick up the spot? These guys race 1 lap down. He ducks underneath them. Might have clipped him. And spinning around goes down John Hill.
Yeah, John Hill's one of the cleanest drivers here. So
I think Branch got a part of his right rear. Here he comes out of pit lane. Interesting pit exit here because it downses you, puts you right out in the racing line.
Yeah, it does. You got to get
right
on
on
the car
board.
right away.
Boy.
Yeah. And you're not up to speed is the problem. The other guy is, so if he wants to be aggressive enough.
Well, we told you that Damon Martinez was going to have to make another stop. He enjoyed it so much that he's making a 4th stop. Probably our director thinks a speeding penalty, and that makes sense.
Yeah, or he crossed the line exiting the pits. He did unsafe release. He had to come in for a stop and go. I want to go up and, Brian Carey's closing in on Dan Guerin.
He's coming.
Dan Guerin's, yeah, he's only a couple of seconds behind. I mean, you can see him right now on the track. Dan Guerin's got, and we talked about this, Dan Guerin could possibly make it, but he's got to save fuel. Brian Carey is a lap in the good to him, and he doesn't. And he's cranking in some good lap times. He's running about 0.3 faster than him at the moment. So Dan Guerin's trying to save fuel, and once again, Brian Carey is not, and he's slowly catching him.
The interval was about 4 seconds when the pit stops were done, so he's knocked off a second and a half.
And we're coming down that straightaway right now, see whether they cross the line here, where they're at, but definitely closing in for that second position. Across the last line there, Brian Carey actually lost a little time to him that time, but he's definitely putting the heat on Dan. Dan's probably noticing that he's catching up, and he's going to have to step on it a little bit, but can he make it on fuel?
Bad news for fans of Brian Beard. He goes a lap down. Only 8 cars on the lead lap. Next on the Adam Blocker hit list would be Justin Weaver. That Moby Dickey's machine is about 10 seconds ahead of Blocker on the track.
Yeah, but that's for 8th position, so Adam's just driving right through the field.
Martinez, after his penalty, comes out in 10th.
Yeah, that's a big drop. He was running 4th and 5th right around there, and that's going to hurt him in his rookie standings, although with his closest challenger there, Mike Rigney, really back in the 19th spot. He's probably going to jump him, but he could have gained some more points without that penalty.
Yeah, we look at Martinez. Yeah, you talked about Mike Rigney. It just hasn't been his day. 3 laps down. Looking to get any points he can.
Yeah, Hill is, even though he had that little incident, he's sitting in 13th spot. He might gain, he's going to gain some points on Rigney as well, so it's going to tighten up even more in that Rookie of the Year standings.
Let's look at 7th position. There is a little bit of a battle here. One of the closest ones of the driver still on the lead lap. This is Chris Lanini. Right behind him is Justin Weaver. We talked about Weaver having about 10 seconds up to being lapped. But he is closing on Chris Lanini. Lanini up 10 spots from where he started. Weaver started at 6th, fell back early, and has been on a rebound race the entire, well, what would it be, 43 laps that he's been out there.
Yeah, 4 laps to go, getting right near the end of this race. Not much happening up front. Obviously, Adam Blocker doing his thing. Brian Carey not really able to close in until more than about 2.5 seconds. That's kind of leveled off at the moment.
And you see the Moby Dickey's machine making that easy pass around Chris Lanini. So move Weaver up into 7th. Slack Chris Lanini now back in the 8th, the first car to be put a lap down.
Yeah, it's a good run for Justin. He started 6th. I know we mentioned it earlier. He was way in the back, so there must have been an incident early in the race that we didn't catch. Basically up to 7th spot, up to almost where he started, but he's had to work hard for it.
Oh, and after losing the position, Lanini comes in for a stop. That doesn't bode well for Blocker and Guerin, as Lanini was on the same strategy as them.
I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to make it.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't think they would. They would wait till the last minute to make that stop. So I think they pretty much know they can make it. Dan Guerin's been able to open up a gap to over 3 seconds. So he's probably seeing on his fuel number. He's probably saving enough, and now he looks and he's good to go. So he can put in some lap times. He drops his lap times back into the 121. So he's probably doing pretty good. Brian Carey, great job from 9th to 3rd at the moment. Good strategy there. Andrew Kinsella was on that same strategy, but he had his own problem, and he is basically out of the race.
Yep. With Lanini making the stop, that means 7 cars are on the lead lap now. Nobody really in question up there other than Brian Carey if he can get to Guerin, and I think that my partner really explained it really well. I think Guerin now is comfortable with his fuel number and has been able to pick it up just a bit.
Justin Weaver's coming into the pits.
Well, that means there's going to be 6 cars on the lead lap. Didn't expect him to make a stop. Thought he could go.
That's going to move David Martinez back up 1 spot after his penalty. So he's going to move him back up to 7th.
So in case you're interested, there we have an issue. This was a Dustin Wardlow. Spanks it in the wall right in front of Brian Beard.
Yeah, just kind of slaps the wall. There's a little bit of damage to the front wing. He's able to keep going. He's had a rough race. He obviously had a problem at the start. He didn't get out of the pits and lost a lap right at the beginning.
The first driver that I am confident, totally confident, can go the distance. And that is Tyler Groff, because he's made 3 stops. So he's the leader of all the cars that have made 3 stops. Coming across the line is Adam Blocker. He gets the white flag. We look back at 8th position. These cars are a lap down. This is Weaver making attack on Beard. Car up in front of Scotty Johnson. We'll keep an eye on this one as they'll have this lap to get this sorted out. Guerin's lead over Carey. You don't need to go there. You can see it on the tower. A comfortable 3 seconds. We continue to look at this battle between these guys that are a lap down. Ooh, going really wide was Beard. That opens the opportunity up for Justin Weaver to get in there. He'll have the inside position and the pass is made. Move him up into 8th. He finishes it. Blocker is out of the hairpin. He's just got this right-left chicane to go, and he's going to pick up yet another win, his 7th of the season. Nothing between him and the checkered flag, but clear air. Give round number 18 to Adam Blocker. Dan Guerin coming across. We continue to look at the battle for 8th. Guerin is comfortable going to get to the checkered flag. Weaver gets credit with 8th position. Ahead of Brian Beard. Brian Carey brings it home in 3rd, behind Guerin. Stefan Larkamp comes across in 4th. 2 other drivers to finish out on the lead lap. Tyler Groff, the leader of all the cars that made 3 stops. And right behind him, Brian Yazik. Yazik will get credited with 6th position. The racing is over here in Montreal. We're going to take a short break, but we'll come back and run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on this Canadian gate. Back in a few.
The SimPit is an entertainment channel dedicated to the world of simulated motorsports. The SimPit is a leader in providing the sim racing community with news, reviews, interviews, DIY pieces, and instructional videos to make sim racing a better experience for all. Check us out at thesimpit.com or go to YouTube and just search for the SimPit.
Welcome back to the first medical Grand Prix of Montreal and the Plaza Tracks Victory Lane post-race show. Hey, if you're struggling to find something for the person that has everything, here's what you do. Go to plasma-tracks.com. They not only produce original racetrack wall art, motorsports trophies, home decor, and motorsports fabrications are also available. Words can't do justice to the uniqueness of their wares. The only way to fully appreciate their artwork is to see it for yourself. But I'm warning you, one visit, the next thing you know, you'll be trying to convince your spouse why you need a Plasma Tracks wall art hanging in your home. See it all at plasma-tracks.com. Use promo code LRS2019 to get 25% off your order. And now here is 100% of the SimPit finishing order here for First Medical Equipment Grand Prix of Montreal. Your winner, he picks up his 7th win of the season, and I believe it was wire to wire, is Adam Blocker. Dan Guerin gets second. Brian Carey, who I believe broke up the wire to wire win as he did lead a lap, gets third. Stephen Larkamp and Tyler Graff go 4th and 5th. The last car on the lead lap, 1 minute and 13 behind the leader, is Brian Yosick. The next 4 drivers are Damon Martinez, Justin Weaver, Brian Beard, and Chris Sleepy Lanini. Richie?
Coming in 11th, be Jason Galvin right behind him. Nice run for John Hill there. Had a little incident at the end, but still a good run. Coming in 13th would be Joe Branch. 14th, these drivers are 2 laps down. Scotty Johnson, Dustin Wardlow, a little rough start, comes home in 15th.
Whoops, I think Richie drift away there. 16th position is going to be Ron Hacker with Bobby Micas after him. 18th and 19th is James Brandt and Mike Rigney. Now all these guys are 17 laps down or more. Connor Harrington, Andrew Kinsella, Joe Canigan, Flanagan. We saw Ken Hacker have trouble with the Wall of Champion. Brian Limkeman, George Anzaldo, Chris Dover had trouble early, and Paul Jenkins rounds out the field 43 laps down. Okay, with that standings out of the way, let's go ahead and talk to our race winner. I don't think he went wire to wire. Adam, I think you didn't lead one lap there as Brian Carey went one farther than you. Congratulations. How close on you were fuel?
Oh, I think I did beat him. I think I beat him like by 8/10 on the one lap. So yeah, I think I led every lap. But yeah, I only had like 0.1 gallons left at the end. But that's because I kind of saved a little bit extra in the beginning of the last stint, and then I wanted to push for a couple laps to try to get fastest lap. So yeah, I don't know. It was a really long race. I was kind of nervous going into tonight because I wasn't really strong the last couple nights. But I really focused on just I was really struggling with consistency because it's really easy to drive all the chicanes here because you have to brake deep to make time. But if you overdrive them a little bit, you can hit a curb wrong and spin. I'm sure you saw that in the race. But yeah, I just really focused on getting my braking points down and then just sort of cruise up front.
As far as traffic goes, I kept watching to see if you were going to come up on a battle. But from what I could tell, you just basically picked them off one by one. Yeah,
it was kind of weird. Tonight was really easy with lap traffic. Part of that was guys doing a good job getting out of the way, and part of it was just luck, I guess. But yeah, it was really didn't have any issues once I got through the first couple laps and kind of cleared Dan a little.
All right, well, you got 3 in a row earlier this season. You got a shot to get 3 in a row again as we go to Gateway next week. Good luck to you.
Yeah, I like Gateway, so I like my chances there. Also want to give a big congrats to Brian on his first Lionheart podium, so that's pretty cool.
Indeed, he put on a good show. Congratulations. He's talking, of course, Brian Carey, who got 3rd. Adam Blocker, your winner here today. I think Richie's back to go ahead, and he's going to talk to our second-place driver, I think.
Yeah, I'm back, and we have Dan Guerin here. And Dan, nice job, second place, kind of uneventful. Started second, finished second. A little bit more of a fuel mileage race. Give us a little rundown on how it went.
Well, I don't know how the view was from you, but that definitely wasn't an easy one. I had a few mistakes there. I did happen to keep my position, though, thank God. But I was hoping to have something for the pole there. I got the pole the last 2 nights, and I don't know if Adam overdrove the car and ended up spinning out and wrecking out, but I was kind of hoping for that tonight, but it didn't happen. And I knew as soon as he got out front, he was going to take off, which is Adam on the road course. So taking second place to him here at this track that I don't really like, all day long, I'll do that.
Yeah, I shouldn't say that it was an easy run because we did see one time where he made a little mistake and lost some time. And then Brian Carey there at the end, he went an extra lap than you guys at the end. So he had a little bit more fuel, and it seemed like maybe you were saving some fuel, and then you finally figured out that you were good and you started pulling back away.
Yeah, I was saving the first stint there, trying to see what I can do and maybe leave some for the last stint. And I come down the straightaway there, and it's like 1.1. I'm like, well, I'm not going to make another lap, so I'm just going to dart in right now. And that just set the tone for the rest of the race there. Just kind of saved as much as I could. Then I seen Carey starting to sneak up on me. So I picked it up a little bit and just watched the fuel mileage, and I still crossed the line with 0.3 or something like that left. So I did my job.
Yeah, no, it's a good job making a 2-stop. A lot of people had to do 3 stops and couldn't make that. Well, nice job there, Dan. I know, this year's been kind of up and down, and you've had some good races, some bad luck and stuff, but that was a good second place, and look forward to seeing you next week at Gateway.
Should be a fun track. I got 1 win there in the past, so we'll see what that comes up.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you next week. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Richie.
That was Dandy Dan Guerin, our second place finisher. Now I get to talk to Brian Carey. Brian, You got my hopes up there for a while as you went a lap longer, and I was thinking, well, maybe Blocker and Guerin are going to have to 3-stop it, and Kerry's going to be able to sneak it. But then they went ahead and did those 16-lap stints at the end.
Well, I knew that Adam was going to make it, obviously, being a teammate, and all I knew he was going to be able to pull it off. Dan gave me hope at the end that I knew he was going to be able to make it, but I thought I could run him down. But about, 3 laps from the end, I saw the gap go from about 2.8 to 3.4 in one lap. I'm like, no, it's done. I still had hope at the end. I think he was coughing on fumes there coming to the line, but he had it well in hand.
You must like Montreal. You had a fairly decent qualifying in 9th.
Well, yeah, I'm still a little bitter. I was away for the Mosport race, so the only other Canadian venue. So I don't know, home advantage, I guess. I don't know. It's Montreal, so it's a little further away, but it worked out, I guess.
Well, congratulations on a nice run, finishing on the lead lap, picking up, I believe, your first podium.
Yeah, it's my first Lionheart podium, so it's been a while in this league. I had some success in the Open Series, but it was a little tough this year, so I'm super relieved to get it.
Good deal. Well, congratulations. We go to the Oval next time at Gateway. Look to have you do well there. See you down the road.
Awesome. Thanks, Oop.
Brian Carey, 3rd place finisher today. Richie, you got one more.
Yeah, we got Stephen Larkamp joining us. So, Stephen, nice job starting 10th, finished 4th. Little bit of a fuel mileage game, it seemed like. You had a good run, had a little bit, some interesting laps there with Damon Martinez early on.
Yeah, definitely. Damon and I, we were having a good old time there, especially early on in the going, and there was a bit of a log jam in a way from like 5th position, 4th position on back to 10th. We were having a good brawl with it early on in the going, but then when I saw guys like Graf and Martinez pit early, like on lap 14, 13, I figured that going with a 2-stop strategy was going to work in beating those guys out, and ultimately it did. I think it was ultimately, in the end we were having like a few questions about whether a 2-stopper or a 3-stopper was going to be the way to go, because Connor Harrington, who I want to give a big shout out to him, he did an awesome job in qualifying, had a top 5 for sure going, but then a connection failure happened, unfortunately. So big shame for him. But he was going to be on the 2-stopper anyway. It was a 3-stopper, I should say. I was going to be on the 2-stopper, and I'm guessing he could have been in the top 5 even with 3 stops, but it seemed like 2-stop was going to be the way to go. I guess it worked out pretty well for the top 4.
Yeah, actually, Connor messaged me and said there's no way he can make 2 stops. He's going to go for 3. So was it tough to make it 2, or, just kind of a different driving style?
A good amount of it was lift and coast, at least for me anyway. I think the mark for me was to get about 2.92 miles to the gallon, and I was getting about 2.95, 2.98. And I found lift and coast early on, maybe using second gear instead of first in some of the chicanes. It did the trick. It was a close call at the end. I think the fuel pressure light came on when I took the checkered flag, but it may have been close, but it was possible. I think it may have been. I think in Connor's case, it may have been a bit of driving style related. So it was. I think it really was a case of who was willing to give up any potential tenths of a second to be able to go that extra lap.
Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't work out with the way you drive. And I think he probably could have finished in the top 5, but he had that issue at the end. Well, nice job, Steven. 4th spot, good finish, good points. And we look forward to seeing you next week at Gateway.
Yep, should be good. A good debut for my new pedal set, actually. And shout out to Mark Cohn, who I had the pleasure of buying the pedals from.
That should be awesome. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining.
Yep, see you later.
That'll do it for interviews, but let's thank the people who made this possible. Because of their superior commitment to provide the absolute best in product quality and customer service, First Medical Equipment, well, they've been the source of medical supplies and equipment in the Burlington, Iowa area for years and years and years. Richie?
Sim Experience, the team behind the AccuForce Pro V2 direct drive steering systems, by providing unparalleled realism and the most advanced tuning features on the market. The AccuForce provides a significant advantage to any sim racer. It can also make for an effective training tool for real-world drivers. For more information on the entire sim experience ecosystem, including their GS5 seat, stage series motion systems, and Sim5 software, visit simexperience.com. Use that promo code SimXLion to get 5% off Sim5 software.
Get yourself haptically immersed and get in contact with Buttkicker. Their products add instant immersion to any game, unlike a subwoofer that moves air and loses accuracy and force. Buttkicker products move actual mass, producing the aforementioned haptic immersion. That's powerful and accurate. Buttkicker products add that missing driver-to-car connection, bringing more realism and immersion to your sessions. See all the family of products at thebuttkicker.com. Hey, use this promo code LION25 to get 25% off your order.
To contact any of the sponsors you see on your screen right now, go to LionheartRacingSeries.com. Click on 2019 sponsors. Read or scroll to the bottom where you can click on the company logo. The iconic original music that lets your ears alert your eyes. You're watching a GSRC production comes courtesy of June Lawn, and GSRC would like to wish her a happy birthday as well. See the screen on how to contact her. On the screen now are just some of the company's equipment and software that made this broadcast possible. The Lionheart IndyCar Series returns in 1 week, October 16th, for round 18 from Gateway, St. Louis. GSRC and IESN will be there to bring all the action. We hope you join us.
Before your very eyes right now are some upcoming broadcasts, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. If you want more information about GSRC, here's what you do. GlobalSimRacingChannel.com. We got social media options as well. Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, Twitter at GSR Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Gram. And if you haven't done so yet, become one of our YouTube subscribers by heading over to our YouTube page and hitting that big red button. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, that would be Richie, Amjed, and Dougie, I'd like to thank you all for watching, as we did indeed see Adam Blocker win his second race in a row here at Montreal and the second in a row in the series, as he gets the win in the first medical equipment Grand Prix of Montreal. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.